Welcome in to Friday's Guerrilla Sports Off-Ice Show presented by Trusted American salary-based mortgage consultants want to help you into a better interest rate and lower your monthly payments. Go to trustedamerican.com to see how much they can save you today.
Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in for Guerrilla Sports Off Ice. Meghan Angley, joined today by Chloe Theil for another fun Friday show. We had an exciting night last night with the Sports Palooza, Nuggets, Avs, and Broncos playing. How was it for you from your perspective?
It was stressful for me, and I wasn't on camera. I was in the back the entire time. So I was doing my best to watch this game, but then in the middle of this game, then we were, editing Broncos stuff.
Yes.
So it was hectic, but in a good way. It's always fun to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for people who weren't able to tune in with all of the sports playing at the same time, we did a 4-hour show here in the studio, and we had reporters in the field. So we were getting locker room interview clips being sent, coach pressers, and unfortunately for the other teams, they didn't win, but the Colorado Avalanche did win against the San Jose Sharks 4-2. It was a little bit dicey in the second period, but they pulled it together thanks to our guy, the old Kiviranta. We're definitely going to talk about him a little bit today. Since we didn't really do a proper post-game show for last night, we're going to kind of recap a little bit of the game. And I think a good way to kick it off is to hear from Jared Bednar and his thoughts on the game, if we can get him going.
Big things that come from behind win, a couple power play goals and good secondary scoring. Kiviranta.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, did you like what you saw?
Yeah, I did. First period especially, I thought we were shooting the puck, created lots of chances. Second period wasn't as good. I kind of thought they took it over a little bit in the second. But I liked our third again. I thought we got back onto what we were doing in the first period. And, and you forgot one thing. I thought our penalty kill coming up huge tonight. Third period penalties that we have to kill. They got a talented group, right? And it's growing and getting faster and more skilled every day. And they played hard tonight. They played fast tonight. And I thought our guys competed, though. Like, not just worked hard, but we competed hard. And then we're able to capitalize on some of our chances as the game went on, which was great to see. Big win for us.
I also forgot the goalie. He was pretty good.
Yeah, he was good. I thought he was really good. Like when we gave up chances, there were some good ones, some really good ones. And he was there to shut the door, and that's what you need. When you make a mistake, you need him to shut the door, and he did that.
Depth scoring is always important, but Kale said the top guys maybe had a little bit of an up and down night. How much does it just underscore the importance of what Kivy was able to contribute?
Got to have it. I mean, depth is very important in this league. Doesn't come easy for those guys either. Like, sometimes I feel like they got to work twice as hard as some of our top guys in order to create those scoring chances, but the simplicity in their game tonight, the effort, the second effort on pucks, shooting the puck when they had opportunities, they don't overcomplicate it, and they got rewarded for it tonight.
How do you plan for a player like Macklin Philibert? Obviously, the last time you guys were here, he was out of the lineup. But
yeah.
How difficult was it to game plan for someone like him?
Yeah, it's same as. I mean, you have to plan for him a little bit. I think same as you get more familiar with him, he spends more time in the league, same as any other top player. You got to know where he's at on the ice. You got to know what his skill set is, what he likes to do, kind of pick up on some tendencies. And great shooter, great passer, likes to skate the puck and hang on to the puck, like most other top guys in the league. So game plan doesn't change too much, but you got to be aware of him when he's on the ice. You got to make sure your matchups are right as a coach, so you got the right guys on the ice to take care of him.
You guys have seen Georgie dig in before late in games and make some big saves. Did it feel like maybe he was starting to do that a little bit? Were you guys having to talk through, just keep shooting on the bench?
I think you got to, we got away from it in the second period. I want to say first period we had 30-plus shot attempts. We were getting to the net, creating rebound chances, some tough screens. Second period, I think we were half of that, 16 or 18 shot attempts, which wasn't enough. I thought we passed up on shooting opportunities in the offensive zone when we had traffic, especially. Passing it through their box is not an easy thing to do when they have all their guys packed in the house down there with good sticks. I thought we forced the play a little bit in the second period, and it led to their rush opportunities against instead of scoring chance against for us. So that's what we talked about after the second. I thought the guys made a good adjustment in the third.
What did you like about the power play tonight besides scoring twice?
Hungry. Yep, shooting the puck, hungry. I thought even on Val's, like Kale had a couple from the top with good screens. He just missed the net on. Val bangs in the rebound off the end boards, but it was competitive, you know, and that's what we need. A little bit of desperation, a little bit of digging from those guys to check the puck back. I think can go a long way in creating secondary scoring opportunities. We got them tonight, and the guys capitalized on their chances.
Was that a little added motivation, try to get this win for McKenzie and Giovanni?
No question, yeah, and it's a big one for us because we've been kind of stumbling around since our last road trip, not quite playing the best hockey we can play, and we wanted to get back to it tonight. It wasn't perfect, but I thought it was a good all-around team effort, and there's always that added motivation to make sure we're digging in for a guy that used to be here that's playing in the pipes tonight, and for Giovanni too. I thought he did a nice job. We shrunk their ice time a little bit as the game got tight, but you want to make sure that they're coming out of here with the bragging rights if you can.
Thanks, Jared.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thank you, Jared Bednar. What did you think of the win?
It was great overall, and I wish that I got to watch
Totally
a lot
fair.
more
There
of
was
it.
a lot going on.
It's been a rough 2 weeks. I feel like I've only been able to watch them play maybe once or twice, so I'm catching up right now. But yeah, what Bagley said in the chat, it's very appropriate that the Avs were scoring on their first shot and then put up exactly 4. And I think this was a lot of what the chat was voicing last night too, was you see this performance from Georgiev and you don't miss it.
Our guy, Brendan McNicholas, had a great tweet for the goalie tandem since coming to Colorado between Wedgwood and Mackenzie Blackwood, and it is pretty impressive. Mackenzie Blackwood 2-1-0 with a 2.04 goals against average, 938 save percentage in his 3 games. Scott Wedgwood 3-2-0 record, 1.92 goals against average, 931 save percentage.
Wow.
Not only that, you look at the goals against average and they're fewer than 4 goals. They're fewer than 5 goals. I know we had that stat line a couple shows back about how many games the Avs have lost by fewer than 4 goals, like 4 or less. And at the time, I think it had reached maybe 3 on the season. It's a pretty significant stat line. And to see this tandem come in and kind of stop the bleeding and settle things down also puts a huge spotlight on the team playing in front of him. So I think that's why there was some added pressure last night when they had a pretty good first period. But in that second period, the top guys made some pretty big mistakes, and now there's no goaltending to kind of blame anything on.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of responsibility placed on their shoulders.
It looked like, too, that exactly like both of these teams were trying to come after their former goalie. So that definitely put pressure on them, and I think it made for an even better game. And especially in the second period, I think the first period the Avs were kind of dominating that, but second period especially, that's when you started to see the Sharks pick it up, and it was a fun game to watch.
It was fun, especially how they adjusted from what was not a great second period, which I'm going to key in on because I'm going to talk about what I don't like in that second period so that we can talk about what we did like, because it feels like the things that we liked in this game actually gave players who maybe did some things I didn't love the opportunity to redeem themselves. So I want to give them that time in the sun too. So I don't know if we have the images with Thomas behind the glass with some of the things that I didn't like, but I'd love to show the first image of something that I did not like. This is perfect. Okay, this is the Lehkonen turnover. This is on the second goal against the William Eklund goal. San Jose worked fast to gain entry and start moving the puck, and Wenberg came in as the trailer and skated to the crease like he was going to try for the wraparound, but he threw on the brakes at the last minute and tried to stuff it on Blackwood. But Makar, I think, made a pretty good stick play there to break it up, so it gets to Lehkonen. Lehkonen has the opportunity then to break out the puck, and he attempts to pass it up to MacKinnon. MacKinnon's back is turned to him. He's already pointed north. That pass also just a little soft, not enough mustard on it, ends up on the stick of a San Jose Sharks player. It's a turnover that leads to extended zone time, which results in a goal against after a weird puck bouncing around. And that is just not what you want to see from some of your top players. I'm keying in on Lehkonen on this play because he does some things later in this game that I really love. So I'm not going to harp on him too much right now. I'm kind of viewing the top six as one collective group because he's not the only player that makes mistakes. If we can flash the second image of things that I did not like, this is on the first goal against. And Mikko Rantanen is highlighted because he is caught puck watching and he fails to pay attention to his assignment in front of him, which is ultimately Carl Grundstrom. But I also don't like how this play begins, and Mikko Rantanen carries a little bit of fault there. But since I can only show you stills, I think that one highlights the puck watching of Mikko Rantanen pretty well. Gerard was the first skater back, and he tried to defend this zone entry to hassle Granlund below the goal line. But Granlund was able to bat it to Luukkonen along the wall, and it rimmed around the side, and Rantanen had a pretty soft play along the boards, which allowed the San Jose player to get his pass off through Nichushkin and Makar. And that's what I didn't love. Blackwood made a pad save to stop that initial attempt, but Grundstrom was the player ultimately left unattended in the rebound. And that's where I'm a little frustrated with Mikko Rantanen. It starts with me feeling he was a little soft along the wall and then also leaving his guy uncontested, unattended to get inside ice in front of him. I don't love to see it. And again, Rantanen a player I'm keying in on because he has a redemptive power play goal later in this game. So I'm giving them the bad so that we can really get excited about some of the good.
Also, something about that too. When I was watching the first period, I remember seeing some Sharks players do that. And I was thinking, gosh, like that seems almost immature as a team to do something like that. Now I can't talk because Mikko went around and did it.
Because Mikko went around and did it. And, you know, it happens every once in a while. Mikko is a big boy.
Mm-hmm.
And his physicality should be, I think, more a strength of his game. And so sometimes there's a soft play in his own end that you feel a little frustration around. And that's where, coming out of the second period, I felt some of these mistakes were a little bit effort-based. Like, if there was just a bit more engagement, I think you could have avoided some of those troubles.
Yep.
But like any good team, they make adjustments. And I think to kick it off, one thing I like about this game is the improvement on the power play. I don't know if I'll go as far to say that it's been fixed, because it is the San Jose Sharks on the penalty kill, but it is still really important for this Avs team to get that figured out, because in the month of December prior to this game, they had one of the worst power plays in the month of December at 31. Only one goal for in 19 opportunities, and they allowed a shorthanded goal. So it was looking pretty grim. Now they're 3 of 23 in the month of December, and they moved to the 28th spot.
Wow.
At least for the month. I'm doing it month by month because this has been a top 3 power play at the start of this year. It's obviously experienced a little bit of a decline through this point. I guess I'm wondering, I know you haven't been able to tune into all of the games lately, but is that something you've noticed has been a struggle for them?
Power plays in general?
Yeah.
Yes. And it's very obvious. I think anybody can see it. And I actually think one of the things I wrote down, I think the last time I was on the show, I was like, oh, we should get Val on the power play. And that's how long it's been.
I love this.
But love him on the power play. What's so crazy about this is that this is just an absolute unit that they have on this power play.
Yes.
And they should be one of the top power plays in the league. No question at all. And it's definitely lacking a little bit, but I do think like Ross Colton was a big part of that. I think getting him back has definitely been a little bit of a fix, but yeah, I agree. I wouldn't say that it is fixed. I think a big part of their power play last night was also just knowing Georgie's weaknesses. So I think that was more of what helped the power play get going, other than just having it be fixed.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
No, that's an excellent point. I think we have to be a little realistic before we jump to saying that it's completely been fixed.
That's my goal. That's my resolution.
Be realistic?
Be realistic.
I wanted
always.
to ask too, because when we did this a bit ago, you're
Mhm.
like, hey, maybe they should try Nichushkin on the power play
Yeah.
again. I mean, again, it's the San Jose Sharks. Georgiev, first shot on goal.
Mhm.
Nichushkin opens the scoring with
Yeah.
a power play goal. What do you
Mhm.
like about him there?
God, that's a great question. I just think that the unit that they have, he's just such a core piece of it.
Totally.
And I think, especially where he's been with his line, I think they needed to bump him up to that spot. And I think it's the same with Ross Colton. Whenever you see those guys that get bumped up to this power play, then usually that's when they start, scoring more goals. For Val, it's a lot slower because the power play hasn't been doing what it needs to do.
Yeah.
But I do think it's getting a lot better, and I don't have the right words because I just don't know the analysis correctly.
No, you know exactly what you're
Yeah.
talking about. There's a reason Val Nichushkin should probably be
Right.
on the top unit. And I think this first goal for the Avs demonstrates why he makes such a great option. I think we've talked about maybe the Avs have become a little bit predictable on the
Mhm.
power play because they are using the same 5 guys each year.
Mhm.
Have other teams figured them out? And I like the power play goals last night because they did some of the things that have brought them success before, but they just made better decisions. Like that first goal, they moved the puck around the perimeter. They've been criticized for doing this because plays seem to die. They overpass the puck. But I think they made good decisions because when the puck moved around to McKinnon, he scanned his option in the bumper spot and ultimately fed Makar at the point.
Mhm.
I think I've seen him try to feed that puck to the middle. And sometimes it gets there because he's an elite passer. He can find impossible seams, but that's usually where the play dies. It's just a bit hard to get the puck in a dangerous scoring place from there because a lot of the PK is defending that the most. And
Mhm.
so getting it out to Makar gives them a little bit of time and space. And Makar's shot, it goes wide. It bounces to the side of the crease, and Nichushkin is there.
Mhm.
That's what I like about Nichushkin on the top unit. He gets himself to the net front, primed positioning to be able to backhand that under Georgiev.
Mhm.
And I think the speed of which this unfolds, too, is another important strength for Colorado on the power play that they need to utilize. I think the other thing that's been criticized a little bit lately is McKinnon being the sole entry guy on that top unit. He used Colton, though, to make a pass entry on the second power play goal
Mhm.
for, and Colton dropped it to Makar at the blue line,
Mhm.
but McKinnon skated ahead, so it kind of looked like Colton might try to feed Mac down low, and instead opted to move the puck outside and kind of collapse in on San Jose using Makar from out high. And I think a lot of teams anticipate the Avs using Makar out high on the power play, so it's not a magic trick that's going to always work. But if they do this quickly enough and they try to incorporate some deception in terms of what options are available to them, you also just have an elite passer in McKinnon to get the puck across the slot through a seam to Rantanen to one-time it,
Mhm.
bar down. And that's kind of the thing where maybe Georgiev could anticipate Rantanen opting for that play.
Mhm.
But it's really hard to beat a Rantanen one-timer,
Mhm.
even if Georgiev is anticipating it.
Yeah, I had that thought too, don't you think that he would anticipate this knowing that he's played with the team for so long? But yeah, it's just too fast. It was too fast for
Too
him.
fast for them.
On his glove side too, which they know is a weakness again.
Yes.
So yeah, that was a great play. I remember seeing McKinnon and Colton together, and I was thinking that maybe it was an accident. It looked like maybe they were about to hit each other a little bit, and I wasn't sure if that's what they were going for, but it worked out perfectly.
They made better decisions.
Mhm.
They trusted their speed. I'm not going to say it's fixed. I think you're being very realistic in your
trying.
opinion on the power play too, but it does feel like an important way to get the monkey off their back, so to
Mhm.
speak, because it has been struggling so much lately. And that leads me to Jolke Viranta.
Wow.
I talked about the things that I didn't like in this game. I want Thomas to flash one of the things that I did like. It's King Kibby.
Wow.
His 7th goal of the season with a 2-goal performance. He had just 3 goals last year and a career high of 8. So he is about to surpass his career high in goals.
Yeah.
And you look at his points totals in the NHL season by season, They don't jump off the page at you. So his points total, I believe, is 11 in his career.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get carried away, but I think that he can surpass his career points total and goals in this season with the Avs.
Mm-hmm.
And in my show with the New Year's resolutions and gifts, which I'm going to ask you about, one of them was for the Avs to hone their craft. I wanted to see depth scoring pose more of a scoring threat because I think this Kiviranta, Parker Kelly OC line has been one of their most consistent and defensively responsible, so much so that I think they can add another level now. Like, all right, you're doing all of the right things. You don't have to worry about making mistakes anymore. You've eliminated that from your game pretty well. I want to see you then take it up a notch and see what are ways that I can be more of a scoring threat. And so Kiviranta having a 2-goal performance is obviously huge in this game. I believe I heard some Kivy chants from behind the glass yesterday when this happened.
Most
were you
definitely.
A part of this?
We were a part of it. It's so exciting. And the thought that I had was, I need to figure out what's going on in these games where he puts out multi-goal games.
Yeah.
Because there's got to be something. It's not like it happens every night, or it happens once a season, maybe before, but not this season. Like, this is the second time that this has happened. And there's got to be something about it that I just can't figure out that's making him have a performance like this.
We've got a super chat from Vaguely Sober.
Ooh,
Kivy. I didn't know how many Kivies we should do. But Kivy, that was just pure excitement. And Liv had asked me how the team responds tonight. And we'll go into the Anaheim preview a little bit more in depth later. But I always feel like they get kind of energized when the unexpected guys have big nights. So I think they could get really juiced up by a big Kivy run tonight.
I'm excited about this too, because their last back-to-back was great. So I think if they put out that same performance that they did at the second half against New Jersey, then it's going to be a good night. And
it's Anaheim. I don't want to jump ahead to the pregame preview, but they usually play better in their second game of a back-to-back. And in talking about Kiviranta, it's also my opportunity to give some of the players I was tough on earlier some flowers. Okay. So that first Kiviranta goal is born from Nichushkin forcing a turnover to spring the Avs off the rush. Now, he's not someone I was really critical of. I spoke generally critically of the top six, but I also love on the second Kiviranta goal, it's Lehkonen who beats San Jose back in a race. Georgiev plays the puck first, but Lehkonen hounds it with the help of Middlestat to force possession and establish possession. And they get it over to Kiviranta, and his slap shot beats Georgiev. So 2 pretty quick shots from the Avs that go past Georgiev on this night. And also some big kills last night for Colorado. In the month of December, they've killed 22 of 25 penalties against, and they're 7th in the league for their PK in the month of December. So special teams has come under fire at points. The PK by the numbers really struggled early. So if you look at the totality of the season, doesn't necessarily look like a strength of this team, but I'm giving Kiviranta some flowers because he's a key defensive forward on the kill. He played a big role, over 2 minutes on the kill last night. And I think they derived some really positive momentum from those energy guys out there on the kill, doing what they needed to do to keep this team in the game. Yeah, and I just think about, I feel so bad about this. Our pyramid, and Kivy wasn't on it. He just fell short of it. And I think about that all the time now when Kivy has these big games. We got to keep an eye on the calendar because we were going to do the next 10-game segment. We've got to be approaching it because I want to say we did this around 35. Let's see where we're at. Sorry, we did it around 25, so 35. Oh, we're 1 away from the next 10-game segment. So I shouldn't feel bad. No. We have another opportunity. And I think he was around our 15, 16, and we did 1 through 15. Yes. So Kivy almost made our first pyramid. He's definitely going on our second pyramid. Jared Bednar described him as phenomenal because of his consistency this year. And I think it's been very welcome. Look, the Avs top 6 is still figuring things out. Not just what they're trying to accomplish on the power play, but Jared Bednar changed the lines up even in last night's game. So it's not set in stone. They've got some good options up there right now, but I don't think he's figured out exactly what he's happy with.
I think that's a good thing. I think as long as he keeps trying different things, then, the top 6 can be intermingled.
Yeah.
And I think that's good. I think it confuses your opponents, and if you have a lot of depth players that are able to play in your top 6, I think that's great to have as a team.
I think that's what has made Ross Colton returning such a huge and necessary addition back to this team. Josh Manson was hopeful to return on this road trip.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. There's one more game after this before the break, so maybe he gets in the Seattle game. But it's still welcome news, in my opinion, that Josh Manson might be returning sooner. Coming out of the holiday break would still be great. Just seeing the difference it made for Ross Colton in the forward group. I think the back end could use a little bit of juice too. I've liked what the Sams are doing, so I don't know that I want to see them broken up.
Always love the Sams.
Love the Sams. But it'll be nice to have Josh Manson back soon.
I agree. And one other thing, one of the things I was watching during last night's game was Chris Wagner coming down in his shot that just hit right off the bar. And I feel like I haven't really seen that come out of him just yet. So I did really enjoy that from him, and I hope that he continues to do that kind of stuff, because you don't really ever see that.
That's a great point, because they just called up Jure Anala for the Colorado Eagles. And I think they're going to give him a look tonight.
Yeah.
Now, it might be in favor of Chris Wagner. It might be Giovanni Smith that's coming out of the lineup. No, there have been bursts from Chris Wagner, some chaos at the net.
Right.
He seems to thrive too when he's paired with players like Logan O'Connor. And I mean, not specifically him, but just who play a similar style of game. Puck hounds, willing to do anything to retrieve pucks. And then Wagner, kind of a smaller player, doesn't mind crashing the net front. Maybe he slips in and out of traffic without detection a little more easily as a result of it. Because I remember there was a game recently, it was to my frustration that some of the high danger opportunities only came from Chris Wagner. And so I was kind of looking at the top guys a little bit critically. But I think that he's somebody that has stepped up in a huge way.
Yeah.
The next man up mentality has been huge for the Avs this year. 8 NHL debuts. Do you have a favorite guy that has stepped up this year?
Oh my gosh. You know who I actually really did love? TJ Tynan.
Oh, a little water bug.
He was don't get me wrong, he had a lot of giveaways that were not great, so I'm not talking about that, but I loved how when did he play?
I'm trying to remember what games they were.
I can't remember either. I was trying to think if they won or not. But the way he stepped up, and he was someone I noticed because he was so fast.
He is fast.
Like he looked like he just came in and then like laid it all out. And I really liked that about him. So I enjoyed watching him play for his 2 games.
His brief time. He's such an elite passer, and you see it with the Colorado Eagles in particular. Like, his finishing touch at the NHL level has not quite figured it out, but he is a great playmaker and has a lot of speed. So that skill upside that shines with the Colorado Eagles, he plays on their top line, top power play. I can see the appeal, why they wanted to bring him back to the organization and give him a chance. Jure Anala, though, kind of a similar description, but a little bit more size to him. So I'm curious to see how his game translates from the American League to the Colorado Avalanche tonight, because he does have pretty good puck skill, good hands, a little more size, but I still don't think he's an overly physical player. So I'm also a little nervous if he's going to be utilized in more of a depth role.
He's not a Steinberg.
He's not a Steinberg. That's a great way to put it, Chloe. I think Steinbergs do well in their call-ups because they kind of have blue-collar habits. And I'm nervous about Urinella, but that skill upside is intriguing, and it does seem like there's obviously value in getting depth scoring. I'm pointing to nothing. There's obviously value. The Kivi Ranta. So it's like, okay, we've got a pretty responsible bottom 6. Can we inject some goal scoring into it? Can we inject a little puck skill? So I don't hate the Jure Anala call-up. When they signed him over this offseason, I thought he had a chance of making a bigger push, bigger splash in camp. And so it's about time that they give him a little bit of a look. And I'm excited to see what he can do. hopefully he can give this team a little bit of juice.
Yeah.
A little bit of a caffeinated energy burst, if you will. 7 Brew Coffee is a one-of-a-kind drive-through and walk-up experience with a fast and friendly crew that is waiting to serve you. From rich, bold coffee to refreshing energy drinks, smoothies, teas, and more, 7 Brew has you covered. With over 20,000 flavor combinations, there's a perfect drink for everyone. At 7 Brew, they believe in cultivating kindness with every cup, and their fully customizable menu is just the beginning. Before you hit the road, power up with 7 Brew in Firestone and experience the coffee revolution. I'll be at 7 Brew tomorrow with Jesse Montano at noon. We're going to be doing a show from 7 Brew live, hopefully, and it's going to preview a little bit of the Colorado Eagles game, some of the Eagles call-ups that we've loved seeing this season, and just a couple other Avs topics around the league and such. So come hang out with us at 7 Brew tomorrow. And then it's a matinee game up at the Eagles. It's their last home game before the holiday break. So a good way to send them off into the new year.
I was not expecting that. When Jesse was saying that before, I was like, oh, no, I can see the transition. But that one was really good. That one was great.
Thank you so much, Chloe. I kind of forced that one a little bit.
It didn't feel forced at all. I was like, yeah, you're just finishing up the sentence, moving on. Yeah.
I'm excited to try it for the first time. Jesse's already had a couple of their drinks, but I'm excited to pick one out. I do drink coffee, but I was telling him I love smoothies. So I might have to check out the smoothies.
I'm very excited. I was trying to convince Jesse to bring me back something with him.
Yes.
We haven't done it just yet, but we'll see. Maybe tomorrow I can get him.
To bring, I mean, would you want a beverage or could it be like a little treat?
Either or.
Because he can definitely bring you a treat. There's no excuses.
Have to bring me a treat. I don't know about the drink, but I would love a smoothie. I don't know how long smoothies really last, though.
Yeah, that one could be tough. We'll be going to an ice rink, though, so maybe we can
so true.
Put it behind the bench. Hey, guys, do you mind? I want to talk about the goalies. You know, the big splash of the news, Mackenzie Blackwood traded for Alexander Georgiev on the heels of Justus Annunen, traded for Scott Wedgwood. How have you liked the addition of Blackwood so far?
I love it. I was really sad. I remember when you guys did the pod when that first happened, and it was a crazy time. And I think the thing that I was most upset about was losing Covey, not really Georgie. But I think both of them have been doing great so far. I know Blackwood has had the last 3 starts, so assuming it will be Wedgwood tonight, and that'll be nice to be able to see him play because, again, it's been so long since I've been able to just sit and watch for a while. So, but my only thing is that they need to get Avs gear because I can't look at the monstrosity anymore. Last night it was so apparent, and it just I can't handle it.
You know, I can live with it last night because it was the Sharks helmet. So there's almost something
to me that
funny.
made it stand out more in a bad way.
Like Sharks helmet in Sharks building in front of Sharks fans. Okay, it was adorable to see him get such a warm reception from the fans. It's clear how much he was loved in San Jose by his team, by the fans, which makes me feel good about Colorado having him now. And the numbers support the difference that this tandem has made. The early returns are good. In last night's game, 32 of 34 saves, 2.66 was the expected goals against. He only allows 2. And I think that first periods have been a struggle for this Avs team. And Mackenzie Blackwood has stepped in and has sort of helped to paper over that. Like, you don't have to have a perfect first period. I'm going to help you out. And as a result, I think the team maybe has laid back on their heels through a couple second periods, but they've taken care of what they've needed to for the most part. Obviously, I didn't love the Vancouver game from Colorado. They're clearly sick. If you watch the Cale Makar post game, he's coughing. They don't sound like they're anywhere close to 100% just yet. But Mackenzie Blackwood has given them a chance to win games, especially early when they sometimes make their worst mistakes. He's at least making up for it. And in his 3 starts that he's had so far, he's 3.68 goals saved above expected. That is a number that wasn't trending in the right way with the previous tandem. It's one of the best in the league, and especially through these last 3 starts specifically. Like if you look at other goaltenders, their last 3 game stretch, very weird stat, but it's the second best in the league. So Mackenzie Blackwood, people were worried if he could handle the pressure of playing for a more competitive team. I think he's answering that very well right now.
Yeah, I think whenever not whenever, but in a lot of cases, I think when you take a player and you put him on a team that's more competitive, then it forces them to be more competitive. I think these are NHL players and they're going to step up. They're not going to try to hide from that. So I was never worried that he wouldn't step up and be competitive for this team. But I do think, yeah, he relieves some of the pressure for them, but they definitely do get a little bit comfortable when they have better goaltending in net. So we just need to kind of force them out of that phase.
All right, yes. War is over in goaltending. Now they need to answer for what they're going to do in the front there. A couple comments in the chat too about some of the helmet designs. Jackie Moon says that Wedgwood has his designed. I think Jesse tweeted something out that it was being shipped out. And I want to know how you feel. Wedgwood in the past has not shied away from kind of different helmet designs, has incorporated teammates on his mask. I think Wedgwood should put Nathan MacKinnon on his mask.
Oh my gosh. I would just love to see what Nathan MacKinnon's reaction would be to that.
Did that.
He'd be like, I don't know if I really deserve to be on this, or it would be yeah, of course I'm on that helmet. So, helmet.
In the past too, he's kind of made it cutesy, like Ottinger was nicknamed Otter, and so he had a little otter version of Ottinger. Do you think he would do like Mac as a dog? Like a little puppy dog?
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, you do.
I think that if he would do that, that would be amazing, but I don't know if he actually is going to do that.
I do wonder if there's some fear of, are we cool enough to do that yet, or do I need to get to know Nathan MacKinnon a little bit more before I do that?
And
I think that's fair.
I wish both of them were just completely like wood textured.
Oh, that would be so cool.
I mean, that was my thought, and I assumed that was going to be like what everybody was thinking, was like, it has to be wood. And they're not.
Okay,
the wood shed?
The lumberyard or the woodshed?
I voted for woodshed.
Me too.
And I don't know who from the Avs chose lumberyard, but I feel like that wasn't the vote that everybody
I thought I saw
got.
the poll on Scott Wedgwood's Twitter, and it was woodshed in the lead.
That's what I thought too. That's what I thought.
So unless this was internal and the goalies were like, we love the lumberyard. I don't know.
I don't know either.
You see, the lumberyard is where wood gets chopped up. And the woodshed is where you take somebody out back to teach them a lesson. And so that feels more menacing to me than the lumberyard.
It does.
Like, you got taken to the woodshed.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't think they even have to lock themselves into just one.
I agree. It can be both. But here I will be calling them the woodshed.
The woodshed.
The woodshed.
The woodshed is brought to you by our friends over at Landmark Lincoln and all the new 2024 Lincoln Corsair GT plug-in hybrids. Head on over to landmarklincoln.com to check out the latest offers and incentives, including incredible tax incentives on all new Corsair GT plug-in hybrids. Go to landmarklincoln.com or stop in the #1 Lincoln dealer in Colorado to see if you qualify for no payments for up to 90 days. Again, that's landmarklincoln.com, or stop in at the corner of Broadway and Bellevue today and see why they've been Colorado's trusted Lincoln dealer since 1911. We were actually there earlier this week, got to see some of the vehicles, and the end of year incentives specifically are some pretty incredible deals. They're highly motivated to give the best deals possible before the new year comes around. So if anybody wanted to get somebody a Lincoln vehicle for a Christmas gift, it's the perfect time.
It really is. And if you're watching, if anybody's watching, I would love a Lincoln for Christmas. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Chloe will accept Lincolns. You can send them to the Gorilla Sports Studio address.
And better yet, then we'll park one in the studio. And we'll do pods from inside the car.
Your mind. I'm so excited. This is a perfect transition for what you would get the Colorado Avalanche for Christmas.
Yes.
I hope you've been thinking about this all morning. We ran through a list between Jesse and I. We had some ideas, all very good, of course. But I have to imagine that you know exactly what this team needs.
So I didn't do pictures.
That's okay.
Unfortunately,
It would have been
I'm
last
just gonna have
minute
to
for
describe it.
Thomas behind the glass. That would have been stressful.
So this goes along with what we were talking about earlier, and we don't know necessarily if the power play is fixed, but I made these kind of goofy. But I
Yes.
said that their first gift would be a GPS for the power play.
That's adorable.
So
I love this.
It'll help them guide them back to where the net is, and hopefully help a little bit on that power play.
That's
So my first
incredible.
one.
GPS programmed by Jared Bednar.
Precisely.
Ray Bennett. I'm not sure Ray Bennett should be programming the GPS.
The next one is bubble wrap for Miles Wood.
What's wrong with him?
So sorry, Miles. What are you doing?
Month to month?
Do you need to be wrapped in bubble wrap 24/7?
Crazy. Because it feels like, okay, we've heard upper body injury, but it feels like whole body. Whole body hurty. And I think bubble wrap
body hurty
is a good gift for Miles.
I think that would be or one of those like really giant hamster balls.
Yes.
So he could still, move.
Yeah.
But it would be protected.
Bubble boy.
It's like the red jersey, except a little more cautionary.
Elevated.
Yeah. The next one is a Find My Teammate app for Jonathan Drouin. Where is he?
Jonathan. Okay, I want to shout out Trolls in the chat because he did ask about Jonathan Drouin earlier. Trolls in the chat feels like I'm calling you a troll.
I know, that's what I thought.
You are not. I think
like,
your username is King of Trolls, and you had a very valid question about Jonathan Drouin, and I just don't have an update.
Which is why they need an app for him.
Where is he? I'm just kidding. He's been doing his own.
Oh, right.
No, stuff.
He's around.
We know who Jonathan Drouin is. He exists. He's real. We've seen him.
We have. Well, I haven't, so I can't really say anything.
It's just been tough because it seems like what he's dealing with, he looks great. He even looked good when he returned, but it was aggravated. And so I think that's what has made his timeline tricky to predict. And Jared Bednar said that reinforcements weren't really on the way soon, and then Josh Manson appeared on the road trip in a red no-contact jersey. So I'm going to take it a step further and say I don't know if Jonathan Drouin is also that much a ways off, just based upon the lies that were I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
The lies that were being fed. No, I'm holding out optimism for Drouin, but I don't have a clear update on him. So I hope we can find him on the app.
Darn, on the app. The last one is, and we touched on this too, kind of like what you did for Bednar. I said that Mackenzie Blackwood deserves a little bit of a spa day.
I love goalie spa day.
He's been, going through it. He went through the entire trade. He's been doing so well in net. I think he deserves a little bit of a spa day.
I love this. I've
paid for by the rest of his teammates.
Paid for by the rest of his teammates because he's been giving them chances to win. I know they're sick. But also Mackenzie Blackwood was sick. I don't think he got them sick. I think they separately got sick because he joined the team in Denver after the road trip, and I think they came out of that road trip sick, so I'm not blaming him. But I think a goalie spa retreat would be really great for him over the Four Nations break. Send him somewhere really luxurious and relaxing.
So nice. That's my last one for my gift. I have resolutions.
The resolutions, perfect. You alluded to one of them earlier, being realistic. I don't know if that's a personal resolution.
That's my personal resolution, but I should write that down. I want to make sure I don't forget that. My first resolution is that I hope in the new year that the Avs can come back and have a higher winning percentage at Ball Arena.
I love this.
I miss it last year. Last year it was definitely spoiled because when I was working for them, I only went to all of the home games, and they did so well at home last year. I think weren't they first in the league at home?
They probably were. And they had the home point streak, not just Nathan McKinnon's, which was super exciting.
Mhm.
That was last year, right? Gosh,
I
that feels
think
like a long
so,
time ago now.
because I remember thinking it
It
was because of
was.
me. You know what I mean?
It was because of
I was like, I'm
you.
here for every home game, so therefore that's why they're winning and doing so well. That was the thought I had in my head. So I think they were first in the league. So I hope that they can get back to that this year, because winning at Ball Arena is so fun. And
Yeah,
it's fun for the fans, and it's getting a little sad.
I think too, Russ Colton talked about it in a recent interview that Jesse did about how it feels like they're constantly on the road.
Yeah.
I want them to have a nice break at home, sleep in their own beds, not worry about the rigor of travel, and then play well in front of the home crowd.
Yep. Okay, second resolution. This also goes along with the presents. Everything is connected, but
Everything's
improving the power play to rank within the top 10.
Yes.
So that is a big one. And I don't know if that's really a resolution. It's more of a goal.
Yep.
But I think that
If
that
they
is
use
what they
their
should focus
GPS.
on. Right. It all goes together. I gave you all the tools that you would need to be top 10 in the league. So there's no reason why you shouldn't.
I think that is an excellent resolution because I don't want to be teased by the power play in the San Jose game. I need them to keep it going, trending in the right direction, and restore it to the legacy it holds. Around the league, it is considered a great power play year after year. Its reputation has taken a little bit of a hit. The team's reputation has taken a little bit of a hit. I think teams still don't count out the Avs by any means, but I think with all the injuries, it's been easy for people to underestimate the Avs and just kind of point to the depth and laugh and say, who's Kiviranta?
No!
And I think that's mean. So I want to see the Avs restore their legacy on the power play and around the league. Put them on notice that you're still the Colorado Avalanche, and that means something.
And I think that's something they talked about in a few post games too, was, you know, they would win a game and then in the locker room they would say, we're still here. You know what I mean? Like we are still a team, we are competitive, and like we're here. And so I think that they should definitely carry that into the new year.
I love it.
The next one is just, it's establish a reliable goaltending tandem. So we're getting there. I mean, it's still very, very fresh with having the two of them together. So, you know, there's not really much behind it other than they need more time to do it.
Yeah.
But I do think that that should be what they are focused on.
I think that's huge because goaltending has felt like the position that they can kind of think about, care about's crazy, but think about a little less than the others because they've invested in the top of the lineup and those are the headliners. You know, Darcy Kemper with one eye can win them Stanley Cup. Goaltending just needs to be good, doesn't need to be great. The early returns for Wedgwood and Blackwood, why not? Why not let them be kind of great together?
Yeah.
And what kind of impact does that have on a team? Does it motivate them to match their level of compete? I think right now I'm giving them some grace for getting over illness, but I need to see that hunger that Jared Bednar talked about on the power play.
Yep, hungry.
I want to see them hungry because it seems like Blackwood and Wedgwood came in hungry. Both came from places where I think they're relieved to be in Colorado. You know, Wedgwood's time in Nashville was not off to a great start. The team on the whole has been struggling, and he was always going to be behind UC Saros. I think he has a little more opportunity to support Mackenzie Blackwood here, and Blackwood is facing the highest shot volume in the league. It's not that it's a cakewalk now coming to Colorado. There are bigger things at stake that they're playing for, but I hope that the team can sort of match what appears to be really good energy and compete from these goalies.
I hope so too. And this is going back, but Vaguely Sober did say that the Avs went 31-9-1 to lead the NHL last season at home.
Coming in clutch.
Thank you so much, Vaguely, for being
crazy.
prepared when I am not.
That's a crazy stat line.
So
An
anyway,
incredible
that's
homewrecker.
because of me.
That is because of you being there. So you also
Solely.
need to be at games more.
That is so right.
Is a New Year's resolution.
But that is my other New Year's resolution. Yep, I was going to think of some more, but I have no other ones. They're all hockey related.
They're all hockey.
Okay, the final one is this is written in a really crazy way because,
I'm so excited.
but it's cultivate a relentless pursuit of excellence with the ultimate goal of hoisting the Stanley Cup. Big one.
Relentless pursuit of excellence.
Yeah. This is a big one, and I don't know if it's really a resolution, but ultimately they are doing this for one thing, and I think they need to set their sights back on.
Yes. I do feel that's an incredible goal because it does feel like it's been, all right, we just need to survive the injuries.
Mhm.
And okay, we just need to make the playoffs. And those things are both important, but it's like, think bigger.
Yeah.
You can think bigger.
Yeah.
If you're the caliber of team that I think you are,
Mhm.
that is competitive enough, especially when you're a little more healthy and complete, to get a Stanley Cup, then you should be thinking about it right now.
Mhm.
I love that.
Mhm. And that was my last one.
Those are excellent resolutions and gifts.
Mhm.
I hope that they wake up on Christmas morning with a couple of these things under their tree.
I hope so too. And they play the 26th, the day after?
The 27th, I believe,
27th.
in Utah. And that game historically has been weird for them. So I want to see them buck that trend. I mean, it can
Mhm.
still be weird as long as it's in a good way.
We can see how well our presence affected their performance in that game because they received a lot of presents.
They did.
So on the 27th, if they're not using that, then it's going to be confusing.
If Jared Bednar looks extra relaxed, that will be good enough for me.
Yeah.
But I want to see them using their GPS to continue performing on the power play.
I want to see them using their amulets.
I had so much regret by the end of that show about the John Tavares healing amulet. I don't know how to feel about it still.
I love it. I think it's amazing.
I think someone in the chat on that show had mentioned Max Domi also uses it, so it made me feel a little less bad for being silly. Like, well, I don't know, these guys are using them.
Yep. No, it's a real thing. And also, I would assume that it's a placebo effect. But if they wear them, then they'll think, oh, can't get hurt.
Yeah,
and then
nothing can hurt me.
There will be like some sort of bubble around them that's invisible, you know?
Yeah, I like that. I wonder too, this is a tangent, I don't need to go down, but I just wonder if they can achieve that result with any piece of jewelry, really.
Yeah,
Like,
but something about it being an amulet makes it so much better.
Like an item on a hero's quest.
Yeah, like a necklace, I'd be like, okay, it's a necklace. If it was an amulet, I'd be like, oh my god, this is ancient. Like,
You're
there are
so right.
hundreds and hundreds of different things have happened with people wearing this amulet. It's just crazier.
They're a little on the pricey side, but
oh shoot.
But how would you like to get through the holidays without having to make your mortgage payment? Well, go to trustedamerican.com to see how they can help you refinance your home and not have to make any payments until February, which means you can buy your amulet in January. Trusted American salary-based mortgage consultants want to help you get into a better interest rate and lower your monthly payments. And right now, they'll cover the cost of your appraisal, which is a $650 value. Amulet money right there. Go to trustedamerican.com or scan the QR code on the screen to see how much money they can save you today.
Wow. Did everyone just hear that? You can save so much money that you can buy an amulet.
Yeah. Should you?
Should you? I don't know.
I don't know. But that's savings. That's amulet savings, as they say. All right. There is a game tonight, so we can spend the back half of this show previewing Avs Anaheim, second leg of a back-to-back. Anaheim is rested, and they come on the heels of a 3-2 win over the Winnipeg Jets, who've been a very good team.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Anaheim's actually won their last two, but they're still 7th in the Pacific. They've struggled a lot this season, 4-5-1 in their last 10 games, so it's an interesting test for Colorado. They're playing a rested team who's kind of trending right now, but there are absolutely weaknesses in Anaheim that they could capitalize on. And they have a few hot performers of their own. Nathan MacKinnon enters tonight, leading the NHL in assists and points. He's fresh off a 2-assist performance and has 11 points in his last 5 games, 4 goals in his last 5. Cale Makar, he reclaimed the assist and point lead among NHL defensemen this season with a 2-assist game last night as well. But on the Duck side, Troy Terry, 6 points in his last 5. Frank Vetrano, 3 goals in his last 5. Anaheim has been saved by good goaltending this year. Their team goal scoring has been down on the whole, but pretty good goaltending performances. When the Avs played Dostal last, it was such a close game. It was very challenging for the Avs to beat them. So this is where I felt the top guys redeemed themselves in the game last night, but I think they have more to give in terms of their goal scoring, especially 5v5. Would love to see them continue the trend of scoring on the power play. A pretty weak PK in Anaheim, so they should try to take advantage of that as much as they can. I'm not going to stop Kiviranta from having another 2-goal night, but I'm really keying in on the Stars.
I was just going to say, would love to see a little bit more from Kivy. Maybe a hat-trick.
I wanted them to get him the empty net goal.
I know.
So badly.
I was confused why Bednar didn't have him out there. I was upset.
Maybe he didn't want to. I'm just kidding. I have no idea.
He wanted to save it for the rest of the season. He didn't want to.
Right.
He didn't want to get the hat trick and then have to keep competing for more hat tricks. He wanted to get the 2s, and then eventually he'll get the hat trick.
When it really feels right. He looked also like maybe he's a little under the weather himself. He joked with, I think, Kyle Keefe in his post-game interview that it's a shame there's only 3 periods in hockey because he was just getting warmed up. And so you know what, Kimmy?
By the end of it, yeah.
Good news, 3 new periods for you.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Are you still warmed up?
Are you still warmed
yesterday?
up? I
Because
hope you never
should be.
stopped. Whatever you were doing. So what is your expectation for the Avs tonight?
I'm hoping for what you were hoping for last night, which is more depth scoring. And also, I would like to see Ross Colton on the score sheet tonight.
Yes.
I know he had, when was that? God, I'm just trying to think about how long it's been since I've watched, but he had his power play goal.
Yeah, he saved Casey Middlestat. And
that was a few games
the
ago.
Nichushkin line on the whole. And they've gotten, it just feels like Bednar is not totally happy with how his top 6 has looked. And so Rantanen has been swapped a little bit. And I think that Nichushkin, as a result, also has been swapped. But I love the Nichushkin Middlestat Colton line at their best. I want to see them return to that.
Val's Pals?
Why did I call it Nichushkin line when Val's Pals was already there
Val's
from
Pals.
you? That is so
yes,
true.
I would definitely like to see him get in there too, especially on the power play. And kind of get back to where he was before he was hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just hope, like I said before, I hope it's the same energy that they got from that New Jersey game on the second half of the back-to-back.
Yes. Great example.
I hope they come in looking refreshed, even though they may not be feeling very refreshed.
I think the interesting thing, too, is how they split the goaltending. Detroit, New Jersey, Scott Wedgwood got the New Jersey game. Scott Wedgwood gets now this Anaheim game, so he's fresh.
Oh, yeah.
From that perspective. So he gives them a chance to win in being the guy who's at least a little bit rested. Obviously played well in the New Jersey game too, gives them a chance to win. So I'm hoping that can galvanize the team. We might not be feeling 100%, but our goaltender has got us. So we need to support him too.
But he doesn't have us too much.
Yeah, we're not going to rely on it solely though.
Right.
Because there's a good goaltender on the other side of it who has a say in this game.
Right. Do you think that they're going to stick with the same 3-1, kind of what they're doing right now?
I kind of hope so. It feels like a good rhythm for them right now, and it seems like there's a good relationship and understanding between the goaltenders. I think Mackenzie Blackwood has no doubts that he's been brought here to be the starter, and he's leaned on as such. But Scott Wedgwood has strung together good games for them too, that you don't want to have him on the bench too long. And I think 3-1 feels like a really good rhythm.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
I still love a 2-1 start for each of them. I just love Scott Wedgwood.
I do too.
I do. And I love his personality, and I think that he can become a leader for this team. So I'd love to see him on a little bit more than right now, because I miss him. I know.
I love to hear you talk about his leadership component, because when Nashville was in town, I talked to Philip Forsberg about him, and he's a unique goaltender. He's loud,
Right.
vocal. He's a yapper,
Mhm.
and I think that the Avs haven't really had that. I think Francouz was
No.
a good personality in the room, and so there's some truth there too, why that team seemed to love playing in front of him and probably misses that. And so I think it was good for the Avs to revisit the vibes component in the goaltending that might have been missing a little bit. And Scott Wedgwood definitely brings that.
And I don't know, is Blackwood kind of the same way? Or is he quiet too?
He apparently is. I have actually not really gotten to be around him much. Like, I was there the morning of the Nashville game, and they introduced him to the team. But beyond that, no, that wasn't then. It was before then. But anyways, I haven't really gotten to see that yet, but that is how he's been described by everyone in San Jose.
Okay.
Like, the locker room was in mourning when he left. So, and he was in that holiday sweater inflatables video.
I don't know how you can, because like that would never be something that Georgie would do. You know what I mean? Like, picturing that.
Do you remember
that would never happen?
Some of the social content they would do with Georgie, and it's wholesome. I'm not digging or taking a dig at him, but he would put on the headphones and they were trying to do this audio game, and he didn't understand the game, so he was taking it very literally and almost like trying to translate something. That is not a slight at Georgie. It's just where like maybe that differs, and that type of content
definitely
would have been hard for him.
But I think they need a bigger personality for sure.
I agree, because the Christmas photo shoot that they did just recently was amazing.
Amazing.
We need more of that. It's like, have we turned a new page? Are we fun again?
Are we fun again? Dare I say, have we made it past our quarter life crisis?
The bangs have grown out.
The bangs have grown. The goalies have been exchanged.
The goalies have been exchanged, and the bangs have grown out.
That was the biggest part of that quarter life crisis, was the goalie situation.
It was.
And now that we've kind of made it over that hump, I don't want to say we've completely made it out of the quarter life crisis, but things are definitely growing.
I don't want to be mean, but you're absolutely right. Goaltending was a huge part of it. The PK was struggling. Jared Bednar was pretty candid in saying, look, when we got better goaltending, our PK reflected better results. And he felt process-wise it always deserved better results. Similarly, Avs scored 2 power play goals against the goaltender who struggled a little bit on the kill. I don't think it's completely off base to say the quarter life crisis. The quarter life crisis was a little bit goaltending. It was a lot of bit goaltending.
I agree.
And the Avs have work to do though now. They've gone out and they've made a huge change to goaltending. So they need to go and support what the front office has done to support them.
Here's where they have to reflect on themselves. That's the next part. Yes. Now that you think you've gotten rid of the problem and there's still a little something going on, to look in the mirror and figure out what it is that's still there.
The Avs need to look in the mirror coming into this 2025 season. Well, that's all I have for you today. Chloe, do you have any final thoughts?
That's all. But I don't even know if you know this, but I'm going to the game on Sunday with you.
This is already a great sign. And I didn't know that.
Exciting.
I didn't know that. That's
wonderful.
Excellent.
So we'll be in the same place. Look for us up in the press box. Me and Meghan will be up there together.
We need a line name. With like
oh my gosh, we do.
I mean, we could have had Mabby Jabby.
Ah, right. Mabby Clabby.
What, you were Clabby. I was like, Clabby? That doesn't seem right.
Mabby Clabby Avs game.
Mabby and Clabby coming. Mabby Clabby collab coming to you this Sunday. I'm so sorry. We're going to end this show. Thank you so much for tuning in to Gorilla Sports Off Ice. We'll be back Saturday. We're going to be doing our Colorado Eagles show, and Sunday for all the game coverage as the Avs take on Seattle back at home.